Today is Tuesday, January 7th. We are talking about how the power is starting to shift in both American and Canadian politics this week. Also, more extreme weather, from unusually strong winds out west to a major snowstorm in the east. Plus, how former President Jimmy Carter is being honored today. Why a wild ride in a self-driving car is reigniting a safety debate. And what tech inventions have been unveiled so far this week, with many more to come. Those stories and even more news coming up. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Congress certified President-elect Trump's election victory this week in just 30 minutes. Not a single lawmaker protested the votes. And unlike 4 years ago, no angry crowd stormed the Capitol and no lawmakers had to be evacuated. Vice President Harris announced the final result since it was her job as president of the Senate. And even though it meant certifying her own defeat, Harris told reporters she had no problem defending the Constitution and supporting a peaceful transition of power. On social media, President-elect Trump called it a big moment in history. Meanwhile, in Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made the announcement his country had been expecting. He's going to resign as Liberal Party leader and Prime Minister. Trudeau told Canadians he wanted them to have a better choice in the next election, set to happen later this year. He'll stay in office until a successor is chosen. Liberal lawmakers are holding an emergency meeting to discuss next steps tomorrow. In response to the news, Trump suggested the U.S. merge with Canada, saying Canadian taxes would go down and they would be more secure. Trump has been mentioning this for months now, and typically it's been perceived as a joke, though he has also seriously suggested plans to expand American territory in some way. Legal troubles are still piling up for one of President-elect Trump's top allies over his actions in the aftermath of the 2020 election. This week, Rudy Giuliani was found in contempt of court for not handing over evidence in a defamation case. It's a development that could lead to more fines or even jail time. It has to do with the case involving 2 Georgia election workers. A federal judge found him liable for defaming them since he accused them of processing fake ballots when his then-client, President-elect Trump, was questioning the 2020 election results in their state. Giuliani has since admitted his allegations against the workers were not true, and he was ordered to turn over assets as well as documents. Well, now Giuliani says he doesn't remember reading all of the requests, saying he's been juggling so many legal matters he can't remember who's owed information. The election workers have already taken possession of much of Giuliani's property, including a $6.5 million home on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, a Mercedes-Benz convertible, and luxury watches. And they say they're still owed other assets, like Giuliani's condo in Florida and sports memorabilia, like World Series rings. Giuliani's spokesperson says it's all part of an ongoing, politically motivated vendetta against him. Already, Giuliani's lawyers who were defending him in the case quit. He has been disbarred. And he's now facing 2 criminal cases and 2 other defamation lawsuits all over his actions after the 2020 election. To be continued. Another group of prisoners has been released from Guantanamo Bay. 11 detainees were sent to Oman to restart their lives. None of them had been charged with crimes during the 2 decades they were detained, even though there was suspicion some of them had ties to al-Qaeda. Human rights groups say they've been subjected to torture and mistreatment. But now Oman has agreed to help resettle them. It has a program specifically designed to help them return to society with jobs, homes, and families. In recent weeks, the U.S. has also transferred other Guantanamo detainees to Kenya, Malaysia, and Tunisia. That leaves just 15 prisoners at Guantanamo Bay, the smallest number since the detention center opened 22 years ago. Starting today, former President Jimmy Carter is receiving formal honors in the nation's capital. The former president's casket will spend 2 days in the Capitol Rotunda, giving visitors a chance to say their final goodbyes. Then a public funeral is set for Thursday at Washington National Cathedral. All the living presidents have been invited, and President Biden will deliver a eulogy. Former President Gerald Ford also wrote a eulogy for Carter, but since Ford died in 2006, it will be read by his son. The Carter family will then hold a private funeral in their hometown of Plains, Georgia. Southern California is bracing for one of the strongest Santa Ana wind events in years. It's being called potentially life-threatening and destructive. Wind gusts could reach 50 to 80 miles an hour, even above 100 miles an hour in the mountains. So they could knock down trees or power lines. And combined with dry air, they could help wildfires spark and spread easily, which is less usual this time of year than in the summer. So even if power doesn't go out on its own, electric companies are considering cutting off power to hundreds of thousands of customers on purpose to try to minimize the fire risk. The most intense winds are expected tonight into tomorrow morning, though they could end up lasting through the end of the week. Meanwhile, a 1,300-mile swath of the country from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic is cleaning up from a massive snow and ice storm. The highest snow total was in Chapman, Kansas, where it topped more than 20 inches. But even in Washington, D.C., more than 5 inches of snow fell yesterday, marking its snowiest day in 2 years. Around the country, thousands of flights were canceled, hundreds of car crashes were reported, and hundreds of thousands of people lost power. Now the worst of the storm is over, but especially cold temperatures will stick around and stretch as far south as Texas in the next few days. All right, we have more news for you still coming up, but first a quick break for our sponsor. For a lot of Americans right now, it is cold out. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I like to treat myself a little bit to get through some of those long winter nights. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to break the bank over it. So that's where Quince comes in. With Quince, you can treat yourself to everyday luxury at an affordable price. I just ordered an alpaca wool quarter-zip sweater that I'm so excited about. It has this kind of winter outdoor chic feeling. And you know I love anything that I can both dress up or down. It gives me that little something to look forward to without having to feel guilty over the price. Since Quince partners directly with top factories and cuts out the cost of the middleman, they're able to pass those savings onto you. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, which I really appreciate. So treat yourself this winter without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/newsworthy for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/newsworthy to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/newsworthy. Now back to the news. President Biden made a move to ban offshore drilling just as President-elect Trump promises to, quote, drill baby drill. Biden's executive action protects more than 600 million acres of ocean from any new drilling for oil or gas, more ocean than any other president in history. It includes areas of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Bering Sea. But the move is considered mostly symbolic since the ban does not affect any drilling already in progress. And much of the protected ocean is in areas where oil companies don't have prospects anyway. But Biden says his decision reflects his efforts to combat climate change and conserve U.S. lands and waters. He also says it's what coastal communities and businesses want. But an oil and gas industry trade group says the decision will harm American energy security. And President-elect Trump said he would unban offshore drilling immediately. Though some legal analysts say it could prove difficult because the law Biden used for the ban doesn't give the president explicit authority to reverse it. And that means Congress would have to act to get rid of the ban. Stay tuned. A new merger will create one of the biggest live streaming companies in the country. Disney-owned Hulu Plus Live TV will merge with Fubo TV, and the two combined will have a little more than 6 million subscribers. This is a pretty big change from when Disney and other major TV companies plan to compete with Fubo through a new low-cost sports streaming service. Fubo sued over it, arguing the new service amounted to unfair competition, and a judge agreed. Now, as part of the deal, Fubo agreed to drop the suit and accept hundreds of millions of dollars in payments from the other companies involved. The deal is expected to close in the next 12 to 18 months. Even then, both Hulu Plus Live TV and Fubo TV will continue to be marketed and operate independently, at least for now. The self-driving car service Waymo One is making national headlines again this week thanks to a viral video. It shows a customer inside a Waymo car that was just going in circles in a parking lot when he was trying to make a flight out of Phoenix last month. You can hear him talking to a Waymo representative who asks him to open his app and says she's trying to pull over the car. The customer later posted the video on social media to say he'll be sticking to only rideshare options with human drivers from now on. Waymo has since clarified to say the incident only resulted in a delay of about 5 minutes, and the man was not charged for the ride. It also says the issue has been fixed with a software update. But it has still reignited the debate online about safety and reliability of self-driving technology, as Waymo insists it's a safe and easy alternative to human drivers. The biggest tech trade show of the year kicks off today in Las Vegas, setting the stage for all kinds of trends we'll see throughout 2025. We're talking about CES, formerly called the Consumer Electronics Show. Overall, organizers expect more than 4,500 exhibitors during the show. They're showcasing the latest and greatest devices, gadgets, and other tools powered by the newest technological advances. Already, some companies have showed off new tech like driverless tractors, a magic skincare mirror, instant hormone tests, and plenty of robots. As you might have guessed, industry experts expect AI to be front and center once again this year. If you're a tech junkie who can't make it to Vegas, don't worry, the event will be live streamed. We'll also recap some of the biggest announcements right here on the Newsworthy. CES lasts through Friday. There's officially a new Miss America. Miss Alabama won the crown this week. The first runner-up was Miss Texas, followed by Tennessee, Florida, and Ohio. The new Miss America is Abby Stockard, a 22-year-old nursing student at Auburn University who was named Miss Alabama last June. She and other finalists competed in talent, evening wear, and interview rounds. Plus, there was a fitness portion, which has replaced swimwear. On top of the Miss America title, Stockard will take home the $50,000 grand prize. She'll spend the year serving as a global ambassador for the Miss America opportunity. Well, that's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, thanks to our sponsor, Honeylove. When I first started to partner with Honeylove, I was so excited because I already knew this was a high-quality brand. That's because our executive producer right here at The Newsworthy had already chosen Honeylove's shapewear for her wedding day, the day she wanted to look and feel her absolute best. And sure enough, I now love Honeylove's shapewear as much as she does. Honeylove shapewear uses targeted compression to enhance your curves and offer that just right amount of support, not squeeze you. Soon, I was loving so many of Honeylove's other wardrobe essentials as well. I wear their Legging 2.0 pretty much every day at this point. And yes, I use their shapewear for special events. Everything they make has high-quality fabrics, great design, and the type of functional features that let you know that even the founder actually wears each product. So join us and treat yourself to the best bras, shapewear, and leggings on the market. Save 20% off Honeylove at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/newsworthy, to find your perfect fit. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you've heard about them, so please support our show and let them know we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with Honeylove. Okay, now back to Trivia Tuesday. And today's trivia question is, what is the only continent without an active volcano? As for last week's trivia question, how many glasses of champagne are consumed in the U.S. on New Year's Eve, according to Wallet Hub? The answer is 360 million. That technically includes all sparkling wine like Prosecco and Cava that are typically cheaper alternatives to champagne. It works out to just under 1 glass per American, including children. So it's safe to say some people are consuming more than 1 glass at midnight. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when the tradition of toasting the new year with champagne started, but sharing a special alcoholic beverage with neighbors on December 31st dates all the way back to the earliest days of the United States, and champagne became increasingly popular following the Industrial Revolution, when it became more widely available. Now it's as much a part of the holiday as fireworks for 4th of July or evergreen trees for Christmas. Thank you so much for joining us to get caught up on the news today. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest news to know. Until then, have a great day.